Hey guys, so Alabama game is over, 41-34. That was a very good game, super exciting. Um, and yeah, got a pretty good, pretty good, good reaction to this. So yeah, Bama pulled out ahead. Was up, I think it was 28-0, 28, no 28-7. Um, yeah, so it was 30-7 in at the end of the half. That first half was amazing. Um, One of the things that I mentioned that Alabama needed to do was make the long plays, and they kept doing that. And another thing that I mentioned was what would be nice is to see Alabama do more of those short, dinky passes. Because Georgia knows that Alabama does a good job of running the ball. Um, and they're going to be looking for that. And they did a ton of blitzes, blocked some big package defense on the line. Um, they they were doing everything, and they, their coach Kirby Smart mentioned after the game that they just wanted to try to contain Milroy to passing. Um, are focused on the run. So with that, it's a testament to Jalen Milroy just basically leveling up his game. His passing was insane. He did some great passes, short, dinky passes, and a couple of the long passes. There was a couple that were misses, a little bit off on the quarterback's side. There was some that were dropped that the receivers didn't get. But for the most part, it was good. I mean, he started out completing all of his passes. Like it was 11 on 11, 11 of 11. When I had last seen him having a perfect attempt, passing attempts, um, which was really good. And yeah, just looking at like Carson Beck had a ton of attempts. He was pretty much at half. It was a 50% completion percentage. Um, Alabama on the other side, it had an 81 percentage. So he had a 54 versus 81. Miller did have one interception. That one was the defensive play was good. I'm trying to remember exactly when that was. I can't. But boy, Carson Beck had three. Um, but yeah, it was one heck of a game. Yes, if you've seen my other video that I made during the game, I was very disappointed by the refs in this game. They did absolutely a terrible job. Um, it was odd. It did seem like the refs were scared. Um, I don't know what was going on, and I would say I would be upset at the refs, whether I'm a Georgia or Alabama fan. I would say both fans should be upset at the refs because there was some bad no calls and some bad calls that were pretty blatant right in front of the refs, and the refs just it seemed like they were just terrified, like their souls just left them, like they were so scared. So I don't know what went on with that. hopefully they don't have those refs again, or they make sure that I don't know what classes or whatever they do for refereeing at the college level, but there's something needs to be done to change that. Alabama completely dominated on the rushing game. Um, I'm surprised that Alabama didn't win on the passing yards, but they did have that third quarter was not good. That third quarter was the weakest quarter. Um, that I think is the biggest takeaway if you're an Alabama fan watching this. That third quarter, 3 points. Still some points, but 3 points. But boy, they needed to do a lot more in the third quarter. I'm actually kind of okay with the fourth quarter. Yeah, they definitely have some three and outs. That's going to happen. But I expected Alabama to do a little bit better on the third quarter. But then again, Kirby Smart is an amazing coach. I'm not surprised that he made some really good adjustments. But yeah, um, the yards per play for Alabama 8.4. That's insane. Um, and this was the other thing that makes this whole thing kind of the stats all skewed. If you're looking at the stats and you know how to look at the stats, 76 total plays to 65 plays. And Georgia was just throwing the ball, and you could see on the box score, Carson Beck's attempts, he was just throwing whatever he could. And they made a whole bunch of 4 and short and mid fourth down plays. They made every single one of them. And that was an upsetting part because the defense really played well, and they were still just not getting there was penalties on some they should have not, players should have not made those possible. Flags on a fourth down were killer. And that's another thing that Alabama needs to work on is the flags. Yes, the refs were absolutely crazy. But there were some calls that they did get right, and Alabama needs to work on their discipline a little bit. But I am extraordinarily happy with the outcome of this game. I am so happy that the players stayed positive even when Georgia came back and were winning. Alabama kept their poise. It just seemed even when Alabama was losing, I felt fine. I was like, all right. I know it was going to go probably down to a big play. Alabama, even if they're losing, and I mentioned this in my previous video of what Alabama is going to need to do, is it's probably going to be a long pass play towards the end, and that's exactly what they did. Like I said, it just came down for Alabama. It's those deep ball passes. And those deep ball passes made so much of a difference. And Jalen Milroe just does such a good job. And those wide receivers, all of them, just did a fantastic job. There was one wide receiver I was so happy to see that he got in the game. Because he had been kind of around for a while, but hasn't really done much. And he came up with a huge catch, a huge play, long ball play. And I think his number was 3. And that was awesome to see him getting involved now. I mean, Alabama's just got so many wide receivers. The tight end also was getting plays in too. It was fantastic to watch. So, I'm looking at this as this is very good. Alabama has some areas to improve, but they are definitely improvable. Um, if there's areas to improve upon, I would be happy with improving on those areas because there's a bunch of small, minute differences or improvements that Alabama can definitely make in a short amount of time. Georgia, on the other hand, they played very well. They did not give up. That's how they came back. Um, I do think Beck did, needs to improve. This completion attempts needs to improve. 54 percentage of his passes complete. He's got to do better. 3 interceptions. You're not. They probably have been getting away with numbers somewhat like this, but that's not going to last very long. That's not going to be how you beat Tennessee. I mean, it's just Georgia has a lot of work to work on, offensively and defensively. Their defense played a very good game. I will say that they don't have that many changes to make. That first quarter going into the second was extraordinarily tough for their defense, and I understand that. And that's just asking too much of these players, especially when they're getting off the field and immediately coming back on. There is no break for this defense for Georgia. So it was brutal for them. Um, but yeah, with that being said, it'll be interesting. A lot of people are saying that that they think Alabama and Georgia will play each other again. That would be awesome. I would love to see that happen. I think it would be another good game. Give Georgia the chance to redeem themselves and get a win over Alabama this year. Um, but their schedule, the SEC scheduling is absolutely brutal this year. I there's not going to be too much of a clear cut winner. Tennessee looks good. Ole Miss had a bad loss, but maybe they had just a bad game. But then again, Kentucky played Georgia well, so maybe Kentucky's actually really good. They just had a bad game, or they're just off and on. There's so many questions. Missouri is undefeated, I believe, and they're ranked 11. Are they undefeated? Let me see. Missouri football schedule. Yeah, Missouri is undefeated. So there's just so much going on that yeah, anything can happen, especially in this SEC conference. I think one thing that gets undoubtedly shown this week is the SEC is so much more competitive than the other conferences. I would argue that it is the toughest conference, and it's not even close. I would say followed by the Big Ten, then either Big 12, ACC. ACC is looking really good, though. I 100% think that it just shows that just the SEC is just so much further, and the way they've added teams, they've done it meticulously. The SEC commissioner needs a round of applause for that. I mean, they've created such a good conference, and these teams they literally have the best teams. I'm looking at top 5, and all of them maybe they'll have one team from the Big Ten, but either 4 or 5 out of the 5 top teams are SEC, which is crazy. So, anyways, hope you're all having a great day. Just wanted to give you a little post-game recap of this game. It was very fun, very exciting, absolute blast, and great job to both teams. Both teams played their hearts out, and it was very good. It went down to the wire. So, have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.